Okay, well, I gave it a shot to try and live stream. It seems as though when I do on TikTok, it was a little bit better. I just recently did a live stream and cool subscriber Caveman was on there, and we play tested the game. I'll try that again. I guess I should be more consistent with it, right? So we should say, and I'll try and remember this, and I'm sorry if I forget, but Thursday, we'll say Thursday at 10 o'clock, I'll live stream on YouTube the board game, and we can play test it together. It was really cool when Caveman and myself did it, because on the chat, he was telling me what coordinates to put in to move his piece. It was really cool. Anyway, I tried to do live while I was walking on this abandoned railroad. We're in upstate New York, but it just was not working. I live streamed on TikTok. That was much better. But YouTube was not having it, so now I'm doing this video. And I don't like doing the video. If you've been here for a while, you'll know that uploading is always annoying for me. It takes really long, like hours. But it's no excuse. You know, it's no excuse. Hold on. I'm sorry about all the shaking and stuff. Not only is this selfie stick not very good, but the ground is very... Here, I'll show you. You see, these wooden planks don't make it easy, a smooth walking experience. Anyway, so you guys know it takes me forever to upload, but that's no excuse. You know, I go into these moments where you got to stay positive. I often have a hard time staying positive, but you got to stay positive. I've noticed with myself, when I'm not positive, how I talk about what I'm doing here always ends up being, I advertise it to myself negatively. So if I'm advertising it to myself negatively, then I'm advertising it to you guys negatively, and it makes it you lower the coolness of anything that you're doing. And there are people out there for sure who are doing nothing, who are very confident about the nothing that they're doing. And because they're confident about it, in their minds, they're spinning it positively. And when they speak to you about it being positive, then it seems positive. That's how now maybe sometimes you call them out and you can be like, you know, what are you selling me here? This is nonsense. You're not that cool. So I don't know where that rant was going. Maybe along the lines of spin it positively. I know where it was going. Spin it positively. So for a long time, I'm sitting in my mom's house, right? And I'm talking, and it's real dreary, and I'm sort of self-loathing and all of that stuff. And that doesn't look good. And it doesn't make any of it feel very... That's not a strong place to be in. And holy moly, guys. Guys, hold on. Okay, look at this. Ew. Okay, that was not there the first time I walked down here. That was not there. We're certainly going to come back and see where that guy is, if he's even there. That was pretty gross. So, yeah, so spinning it positively. Sitting at my mom's and then acting like it's terrible. Now, it was winter, and I have to say that winter is also brutal, and that it takes it from you're in the middle of nowhere, and it's also winter, and you're kind of a schmo as almost a 30-year-old living in your mom's house trying to make toys and games. That doesn't seem too great, right? But is there a way that we can spin it positively? There totally is. I have family support where I can stay safe and be helped while I pursue I don't want to call it while I pursue aspirations of designing toys and games. Now that sounds positive, right? That sounds nice. That sounds much better than the other one. And I stick through it no matter what. I mean, it's nice. So I decided I'm going to come out here. Hey, maybe we show the toys and games. Sometimes we do the live, but let's get active in some capacity. Get out there and do something, right? Make something, be positive and make something interesting. Make something that isn't interesting. I mean, we just came out on this walk. Sorry if I'm doing a little nose picking here. The bugs go around that area. But we just came on that walk and we saw that gross dead turtle. That was interesting. I don't know why it crawled so far up. Oh, well, I guess it was tipped on its back somehow. That's too bad. Probably flipped over trying to crawl over the rails. It's sad. Anyway. Oh. This janky selfie stick, dude. Something else. So I've been doing these live streams, right? Which have been nice, interesting. And a part of the reason that I started to do it was not only did I want to show off my game in a different way, it's also somewhat lazy, where I can just say whatever I want to say. But it allows me to not be scripted. It allows me to just run for a while and talk and get comfortable and get into a flow. When I sit down to try and write a script, which I've done very few times, I don't feel a flow. And it goes blank, and then I start to have ideas, and all the ideas end up being lots of editing. Oh, I should do this, and I should do that, and I should do these. And I've seen other people online, they're really good at just giving out their opinions. I'm not good at sitting down to a piece of paper and trying to give the opinions. I'm sure I've given plenty of opinions here, but they've been a flow. Something else. I was analyzing my TikTok and how I post my games and how I talk about my toys and games. And I don't position them very well. Where I don't position them very well because I just show them. I just show them being played. And showing them being played is not what modern advertising is, which it seems to be everything is advertising. Look at this. I don't know if I'm getting a very good shot or not. I don't know what those are. I think they're mile markers or something to the train. But Oglo went viral on TikTok because there had an emotional appeal. There had a story behind. There was a story behind it. It wasn't about a guy playing with a toy that he made. It was about a guy building a toy. And that has some sort of appeal. And sometimes it's easier to look at somebody else's something or other and be able to criticize that. And I've been trying to use that as a tool, turning criticism into a tool for myself. And this company, Play Monster, where the CEO contacted me for whatever reason, he's going to contact me and then ghost me. I didn't really get the point of that. Nevertheless, I have more followers on my TikTok than they have on their TikTok, right? And they got a marketing team. And I see what they're doing with their toys. And they have a larger portfolio than I do. And what they're doing is the same thing that I'm doing. And they get, I think, fewer views, fewer likes than I do. They are, thank goodness for that breeze and this shade. Oh, check this out. Those are all ferns. I don't know if I'm getting a good view here for you guys. All ferns. I hope I'm not too high or too low. I'll do a couple runs here. All ferns. It looks like Jurassic Park, right? And it has a bit of a smell to it as well. See the river, and you see hills and stuff. So I look at what they're doing wrong and I say, okay, this is going to be my moment. I'm going to watch their stuff and I'm going to criticize it because I realized what they were doing, what I was doing were the same. They were essentially the same. And so I went on there and I said, yeah, there's no emotion. Who are you people? It looks like just some sort of odd, strange adults playing with these toys. And you can't tell if they're really having that much fun or if they're just trying to push the product. And I said, wow, well, dang, that's really what I see in myself when I look at my videos. Some maybe kind of strange adults making these toys, right? And there's no emotional appeal. There's no story. And I like memes for this. Memes give you an emotional they appeal to some emotional aspect, right? Where, oh, something annoying happens at work, or somebody says something that you think is silly, or something like that, you know? They really, in a few words and an image, they can make you feel like, yeah, that's my emotion in image and text. And that's what the ads have to do. They've got to be an emotion of some sort. That's why you see a car with, you know, it's some super hot guy and his maybe supermodel girlfriend they're in the Mazda Miata. They're in a Miata, right? And you think, wait, these people are supposed to be rich, but oh, the Miata, it's like so cool that these people, it makes me feel like if I buy it, then I could be that thing. Totally. Oh, the Miata looks really cool. Or it's a family vehicle. a minivan, and then they have a family, and you're a mom, and you say, wait, I have a family, and my family is just as cute as that family, and that's the minivan for me, because that minivan is cute. My family is cute like that family. I'm emotionally attached now. I want that minivan. And so my videos aren't doing that. Now, are my videos supposed to be doing that right now? Well, they can, because I had the Oglo videos do that, right? They got millions of views on TikTok. So it is possible. It is possible. And I have to find a better way of expressing that on there. At least with Moving Maze. I think Oglo is interesting because it's an electronic toy, and I have the other videos, and I can keep showing the deeper and deeper and deeper progression. But as for Moving Maze, that one's a little different. I have to find some sort of, what is the emotion there? What is the game all about? Where's the fun? I've got a theme, but how do I fit that theme into some sort of, how does it appeal to somebody? And I watch Play Monster. I see them doing these things. I criticize them proactively for myself, not to criticize them. Who cares what they're doing? And to say, yeah, this isn't good for these reasons. I don't care about seeing you guys play this lame game for the 15th time. What is that phrase? Umpteenth time? And I go on to their profile on TikTok, and I look through it, and I say, yeah. So if I saw one video and I came here, I really don't want to see this video again. I got it. I got it with one. So, how do I make it so that the video is appealing several times and has some emotional feeling to it? I think with Moving Maze, it's going to require some, there's going to have to be some sort of family friendly. Yeah, but I get why that's what the Play Monster did. They were trying to say, hey, we're friends, let's all play. Somehow it just doesn't work. Somehow it just doesn't work. You've got to set something else up. An interesting place. See, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what the secret sauce is. In their video, it's not really, they're in a room. If I can somehow go out into the wild, right? Into the wild. Look, that tree fell. Go out into the wild and get people to play and record that. That might be stronger. That might be stronger. I don't know, though. I don't know how to present that. One strategy was going to be, you could, with the whole coloring pages, where it's the UV map and you can color in the pages and then have those in the game. The goal there was to be able to have art influencers make or just people in general make it, color them in, and then get them into the game. And I think that's still a strong strategy. But yeah, I don't know. Don't know how to get there. So here's something else that goes along with all that. I said to myself, wait a second. When I go on to their website, I don't really know anything about them. Okay, Play Monster, they're just showing me pitching their products. Well, that's not great. Do you really care about products? How many products are you pitched all the time, constantly? And that's what I'm doing all the time. I'm just trying to pitch my product, and I don't know. There's nothing. Who is the person though? Who is Play Monster? Do they have a toy history department? I want to know about them. I want to know about them, and then I'll know about the toys, and then I can see why the toys are so much fun, and I can see why, oh my gosh, look, Jennifer's playing with that toy. Jennifer's such a goof. Of course she's not able to play that toy, you know? Something like that. And here I am, I'm trying to do this. Maybe it's wrong for me to tell you the strategy here, but this is where I live currently. Like, you guys have seen where my mom's place is. You can see the videos. That's what the inside looks like. And this is what the outside looks like. This obviously is several miles away from my mother's at this point, but this is essentially my town, out in the middle of nowhere, which you hear me say regularly, that I live out in the middle of nowhere. I truly live out in the middle of nowhere. Little town in upstate New York. That right there, that road, that is considered a hustling, bustling road. Right there. There are two different car fixing shops. That place right in front with that old stone house, that's a car fixing place, and you go up that road and there's another one. The whole time I was there, 3 cars went by. I mean, you know, middle of nowhere, which isn't wrong. See, you gotta stay positive though. It's not, I can say it's a bad thing. That's annoying. It's fine. I'm a small town guy, and I can go to someplace like Long Island, and it's cool, and I fit in, and I do my thing. I'm cool here. This is fine. This is interesting. Look at us walk down here, right? Get to walk on this abandoned railroad. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, staying positive, let's build some friggin' rapport here and stay positive about how interesting all this stuff is. Something else, I'm working on Oglo. Working on Oglo. You know what? I'm going to hold this too. Working on Oglo. There's some people over here that have been kayaking. But working on Oglo. Hopefully the PCB won't be a whole mess. I'm very concerned about it. You know, the person said, oh, we're going to have to switch from this to that. And I said, gosh, I really didn't want you to do the Arduino. I asked you, I don't want an Arduino just slapped on. And hopefully it doesn't end up being like that. But I've got somebody to line up, somebody do the engineering. Somebody to lining up the PCB. And PCB is the electronics inside. It's the little green board that when you open up an electronic, that thing. So I'm lining all of that up to hopefully actually produce and assemble them. Because I think the toy's worth it. I see the depth of the project, because Oglo starts off as a circle but then can be adjusted. It's a circle, and then the hole on the inside can be adjusted to can be off-centered, which makes one side fat, one side skinny. It can be a situation where the sections are not even, they're not equidistant to one another, which could add some interesting. It could be a combination of the two where the center hole is off-centered and the lit sections are not equidistant. I'm going to stand here for a second, okay? Give me a moment. So it doesn't have to just be an O. O-glow could also be a square, triangle, different shapes. You can go onto my TikTok and see the different shapes I have. All sorts of interesting stuff. The tubes don't have to be perfect, all the same size. Some can be thicker and smaller, thinner. I've been seeing the longevity of the toy. I think it's really interesting. So I have to keep going with it. That's what I'm setting up now, trying to get that PCB, as I said, PCB going. So I only had the STL files for the toy, and I only had the STL files for the toy, and all the people that I'm speaking to about trying to get it done are saying, oh, it'd be best if we reconstructed it so that it's a CAD file, which friggin' sucks because I can't go back and get those files, the CAD files, so I only have the STL, so now I'm stuck having to sort of backstep a little bit because at the time I was clearly terrible at filing and keeping track of files. Slowly but surely. I think I'm going to change the something that's been really nice about making the game and making the website. I mean, making the video game version and making the website is I've been able to theme it a little bit better. I've also, what's been interesting is seeing comments from certain people who always express the toys being some sort of a spacey thing. Somebody commented on one of my videos, which was really funny. Oh, Galactic TV is on again. So I'm pushing hard with that spacey theme, and what I think I'm gonna do is shoot for I don't know if translucent would be completely clear, would be completely see-through, and then clear is not. So I think I'm gonna go with black. This is Dream would be, rather than white with those black dots, all black. That's sort of slightly clear and little colored speckles. Since the game uses all 6 colors, 6 major colors, I'm gonna, and if you go onto my website, https dot colon slash slash forward slash norsumllc.com, you'll see on the website these colored dots, and I'd like to have those colored dots in the toy, in the body of the toy. That'll be really cool. It'd be some spacey looking thing. So yeah, Oglow. I definitely have to get it together. It's not going to come together anytime soon. I was hoping to be able to get it together before I went off to boot camp. Well, I'm not going to be able to do that. Best I'm going to be able to do is get the parts prepped and ready for the You know, I can get, hopefully I'll be able to get the PCB all set up, have the redesign done of the toy, of the plastic parts, and then be able to, when I look right at the camera, I can't think for whatever reason, and get the redesign done of the plastic bits. And that's going to be the expensive part. And then after that, it'll be, I'm sorry, I keep going. After the reconstruction, it'll be cheaper, probably faster. I'm feeling it from that walk. Haven't had anything to drink. That was a long walk. I've still got some walking to go. Yeah, that's exciting. And then the board game I'm excited about, and I'm excited about that mechanism, the move mechanism, and I played it with my mom, and that was fun. So these are the things that have been going on. How am I marketing or showing the stuff off that isn't just playing with the toy, playing with the toys, and showing off who I am and where I'm coming from, and so you can get a better sense of, I know that I've always been pretty bad at showing myself off and talking about myself, for like, maybe you guys don't think so. If not, you can tell me. But I got to show me off more so that you guys can get a better sense of, sorry about that, better sense of who I am. So that you can feel, so that we can be connected to one another, right? I want you to be connected to me. I want to be connected to you. And you'll have a better sense of the feel of the game, of the games. Because the games are a big piece of me. I like the games and the toys because I like the design. It feels like there's some artistic aspects. It feels like I'm no engineer, but there's some sort of engineering going on. I like the logistics of communicating with different people in different fields and trying to organize them. I like the iteration. While the failing hurts, it's also fun. Because I have one idea, right? Where the toy Oglo, for example, it's all going to be white and with black dots. And then people start saying, oh, this is spacey. And then we build out the video game, and I say, oh, look at this. It should be black with these little colored dots, and that could be really fun and spacey. And we're getting a theme, and that wasn't my original plan, but the influence of others got it there. So I enjoy that. Like with Moving Maze, I like playing with geometries in my head. I enjoy with that game in particular, making the game was really fun. Then going back and making the board game and saying, oh, look at this really cool aspect where the video game wasn't so much fun in certain parts and people were struggling with them. Jeez. People were struggling with the game. Like, they get bored pretty quickly. Oh, this new way of setting up the board is fun because this is a clean way of getting the power-ups, or this is a clean way of having a move mechanic. This is a clean way of now allowing you to move the different sections in the game. Hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have the demo up on my website. It'll probably take a long time to load it on the website, but you can try it there. You can email me or message me on Instagram. I've got all my socials in the description of the profile. You can tell me how it is. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the whole thing. And I've got other toys. I'd like to get these things done. Get them out there, get them in people's hands, move on. I'm excited about the army thing. I'm excited to be doing this medical stuff. You know, something I've realized about this civilian world, it takes so much work. And I don't really understand this too much, but it takes so much work to get enough respect from people to be given responsibility. I think responsibility is given far too late. For me personally, responsibility was given so late that I didn't really know how to handle it in any capacity. And because of that, now I'm very fearful of ever having too much responsibility. Even working at Domino's, I mean, being the GM of the store, I felt really uncomfortable about all of that because I was like, wow, I have to be in control of people and the store and this and that. And I don't really want to be in control of somebody else's store and somebody else's store's well-being. And it's like so much effort to be trusted with nothing, right? You got to go and get the college degree, maybe get a master's. Hopefully you pick the right field and then apply for an internship. Which I can understand climbing a ladder, but I mean, we're all quite literate, probably the most literate we've ever been in the history of, I'm talking about like a majority of people. How come people that are so extremely literate are not taken very seriously? Is it then because there are other people that are so far more capable? I don't get that. My parents are quite old. My mom's in her 70s, my dad's in her 80s. And from what they tell me, people were given responsibility pretty quick. Like, oh, you can draw a little something? Yeah, I can sort of draw. Hey, do this for us. I think the other thing is, with the internet, there's so much access to so many people all over the place that probably at one point it was pretty hard to find people. So finding a few people was, well, how much more effort are we going to put into this? Now you have access to the internet and plenty of people can find you all over the place. It makes life extra challenging. And it's not so much that they're not going to give you the responsibility. It's the idea, oh, well, maybe we could find somebody better. So I'm glad to be going into the army, going into this medical field, because it seemed to me like, okay, take this test. Hey, you did well on that test. You can do whatever you want to do. Pick a job. Not, oh, you did pretty well, and now you have to do extra well, and this and that. And often, I remember being in college, it was like, honestly, the most capable people were never given the thing. It was the people who were willing to jump through the hoops the right way. Like the residence assistant. I remember that was a thing. I think they give you free room and board if you do that. I applied for that to get the free room and board. And I did not get it. And I remember when I asked people, well, how did you answer the questions? And they told me, I said, well, that's the generic answer. It's like, you know, write me an essay on George Washington. He was the first president. He was really good. George Washington, blah, 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 you know? And maybe somebody else out there says, you know what? George Washington sucked. And this is why. And this is the research I did. And potentially that person doesn't do as well, even though they put in more effort and they had a controversial take. I'm not saying that all controversial takes are correct, but then they asked me, well, how did you answer? And I said, well, basically like that, but I followed it with some sort of truth. Whatever. You know, whatever. Not enough responsibility. And then, sorry, I'm picking my nose. These bugs are attacking my schnoz. But yeah, I'm excited to get to the Army where they have said, hey, you took our test, you did our things, you passed all the stuff, you are eligible for responsibility. Right? That's nice. Glad to do that medical thing. And I don't know how the toys are going to go. I've been looking up various doctor things. I have to get a degree. I have to get at least a 1250 on my SATs. I have to be 34 or younger, or it's like younger than 34. And probably have shadowed for at least 100 to 150 hours to be able to get into this EDMP program, EDMP2 program. Which is the medical preparatory program for the military. I've been looking up various types of doctors, and I really like the idea. I've always loved microscopes, even though I never necessarily got into them. I always liked the idea of having slides, looking at little things move around and whatnot. But geez, I'm sorry I keep doing that. What is it called? Pathology. I've been thinking pathology would be pretty cool. Seems to be a relatively relaxed specialty. Get to look through microscopes all day. Deal with some interesting machines. I thought it would be cute to make a children's book, a pathology children's book, where it comes with its pop-up. And when you turn the page, a new pop-up slide pops up. And you take a lens and you look through the pages, the pop-up pages. And either there's a story or there's an explanation, and you get to be a little pathologist. So I've been thinking that's fun. Radiology also seems interesting. I don't know about it's paid a lot more, but I don't necessarily know if that's what I'm shooting for. You know? Anyway. I think that's it for me. Wanted to show you guys more of where I live. Wanted to talk about what I think I'm doing wrong. Wanted to speak on how I'm seeing what other larger companies are pulling off. Wanted to discuss being positive, and wanted to discuss the toys and games. And I'll let you guys know when the website is up so you can go play the demo. And if you have Android, you can also check out the Oglo game. It's 2D. It's very simple. It's not anything that's going to blow your mind. But let's keep going and keep pushing along on this whole journey, you know? Okay, guys, I'm almost home, so I'm going to go do some light editing to this, and I will catch you later. And remember, we're saying Thursdays for the live streams to live playtest the game, okay? The board game. You can come on there, you can give me coordinates, and you can play with me. Also, you can check out my Discord. That caveman, thank you very much, helped me set up it's far better now. And I'm trying to go live on there every night. So we'll see how that works out. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.